What up, Fight World? This your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more videos. Like I said, I got a couple videos that's probably gonna shake up the boxing community. In terms of, I don't feel people are gonna necessarily agree with what I have to say. However, again, I'm not biased. I'm not playing favorites. This is my honest opinion based on what I've seen from these people. And like I said, if you guys disagree with it, that's fine. We can have an intelligent conversation about it. But please get your facts straight. Say exactly why you feel this way, what makes you believe that. Don't say no stupid shit like some of you guys do, like, oh, you're a bitch. I mean, come on. So, I want to talk some predictions for fights that aren't even set up, just because they're fantasy fights that the boxing fans, the boxing community wants to see, and I just want to give you my take. Unless something drastically changes, as of right now, this is how I see these fights going. So, I know a lot of you guys aren't gonna like this or respect this. Nonito Donaire, I think he beats both Abner Mars and Rigo. I think he beats Rigondeaux as well. In a recent interview, Nonito, he said that he'd like to fight both of them. He's not avoiding them or ducking them. He hopes to fight them in 2013. He did say that he feels Abner Mars would be more of a challenge for him, and he thinks Rigondeaux would be the easier fight. In my opinion, I think he beats both of them. A lot of people are mad that Nonito got Fighter of the Year and discredited him, saying he's fought tomato cans and just old fighters and people that never amounted to anything in their own careers, whatever the case is. But in my opinion, I think Nonito beats both of those fighters. I would have to disagree with Nonito even. He thinks that Abner Mars would be the harder fight. That's kind of tough because Rigondeaux is a lot more economical and he's a lot more defensive. So we've seen how he looked against the Japanese fighter Nishioka, and Nishioka wasn't really willing to engage. So I mean, it took longer for him to really to look good or to get Nishioka out of there. So I think it'd be kind of the same thing, just because Rigondeaux is more of a slick boxer, more of a slick Cuban fighter, um, with a high amateur background. So I think for him to look good in that fight would probably be harder than Abner Mars, because Abner Mars is a Mexican fighter with heart, and he's coming there to bang. He's not necessarily, he's known more or less for his offense and his power. He's not necessarily known for um, just an impeccable defense or anything like that. He's there to scrap. So anytime you have a fighter like that, then that's willing to scrap and willing to engage, like a Victor Ortiz, Andre Berto, Abner Mars, Pacquiao, that leaves them susceptible to certain counter punches, and we know Nonito is a good counter puncher. So to me, I think Rigondeaux would probably be the harder fight out of the two, just because he'd really have to search for an opening to infiltrate Rigondeaux's defense, and like I said, Rigondeaux would be a lot more strategic and economical with his punches, in my opinion, than Abner Mars, who's just gonna let everything go and, like, you know what I mean, just fight with all his heart like he does with all of his other fights. But I think it's a good fight. I'm not, like I said, if Abner Mars or Rigondeaux beat Nonito, I'm not saying I'd be shocked. I mean, they're good competitive matchups. In my opinion, I think Nonito beats both of them. But again, if whoever wins, I'm sure it'll be a good fight. Um, there's certain fights like Robert Guerrero versus Andre Berto. I make my picks, but they both have a chance. It's still, you know what I mean, it's still a very close 50-50 fight, despite what my opinion, because I thought Berto would beat Robert Guerrero, but I also told you that I wouldn't be shocked if Guerrero beat him. Same thing with fights like when Mike Alvarado and Brandon Rios fought. These are hard fights to call because styles make fights, and I mean, we haven't seen those particular matchups, so it's kind of hard. But like I said, in my opinion, from what I've seen in recent performances and whatnot, I think Nonito beats both of them. So some of you guys may agree, disagree. Let me know why that you agree or disagree. And then another fantasy matchup that people talk about is Eurykis Gamboa versus Adrian Broner. And I've always thought this, but after seeing Gamboa's most recent fight, I definitely think this. Adrian Broner beats Gamboa all day. And the reason I feel this way is because Gamboa fights kind of like Pacquiao, not in terms of their styles or the same or southpaw or anything like that, but in the mindset of a Pacquiao. And by that I mean Pacquiao or Gamboa, they rely heavily on athleticism, they rely on speed, and they rely on their power. And once a person can take that, then it becomes more complicated for them to look good. And I think they at times get a little bit frustrated. And um, I would say Adrian Broner's a lot more technical. He's a lot more technically sound fighter. He has better offense and defense, whereas Gamboa is mostly an offensive fighter. They said a fact on Gamboa's last fight. In his professional career, I think he's been knocked down 5 or 6 times. Even though he won those fights, he's still been knocked down 5 or 6. That just goes to show you that he comes in wild, and oftentimes he's leaves himself susceptible to counter punches, and he's off balance, and that's not good against someone who's bigger than you and probably more accurate and has power like a Adrian Broner. So I definitely think after seeing Adrian Broner versus DeMarco, and after seeing Gamboa in his last fight on the Pacquiao undercard, Pacquiao Marquez 4 undercard, I definitely think this. I've always thought this, but even more so now. Um, I think that Broner beats Gamboa. Like I said, it'd be a matchup I'd be willing to watch. It could be entertaining to see how Broner looks against someone who's willing to engage or who's known for hitting hard. But um, I don't know. I just see Broner winning all day. Um, so that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. And I mean, some of you guys might rebuttal like, "Oh, Gamboa he was didn't fight for 13 months, so that's why he looked like how he did in his last fight, and he got knocked down that fight too." Um, but either way, it doesn't matter. It's just I've seen plenty of Gamboa fights, and don't get me wrong. This is no hate. I like watching Gamboa just because oftentimes you get fighters like Victor Ortiz or Gamboa or Amir Khan even, and they're offensive minded with no defense, and it's not necessarily the sweet science of boxing, but they make for entertaining fights because they do have heart, or they're willing to engage, and they're willing to. So I have no problem. There's different styles in boxing. I can appreciate all of them. I appreciate the approach like a chess player, where they scientifically weaken and take away advantages, like a Floyd Mayweather or Andre Ward. They discourage and disenchant their opponents by taking away their best weapons. I can appreciate that strategy. I also appreciate people who just let it all hang. You know what I mean? So um, this is just my opinion. So like I said, Gamboa, I don't see him beating Broner. Uh, he has a weight issue to deal with. He has the height and reach disadvantage, and I don't see him beating Broner. So let me know what you guys think. As always, subscribe, comment, and or hate. I'm still getting the views. It doesn't matter. And until next video, it's Ego signing off.